In this video we are going to find out if it would be possible to 3D print licorice laces. I can already tell you that it's not possible, or is it? This video is sponsored by Squarespace, but more about them later in the video. Licorice, or the Dutch term drop, is one of the most popular forms of sweets made from the roots of the licorice plant. The name drop originates from the droplets of the licorice extract itself. Drop, as droplet, is not a common Dutch term in this sense. That would be druppel. And the more you know. Licorice candy comes in various shapes and sizes. One of them are these licorice laces, or dropveters. I like these the most. The double salt. This is a very typical taste that most American people do not like. We are going to find out if it's possible to 3D print this. I bought this stuff. This is also called drop rollen, licorice rolls. Maybe I've remembered it incorrectly, but I thought that it was, well, it's like a twin cable. I thought that it would be possible to just rip it in half like this, but they are not what they are used to. So I've bought these, the actual laces. Maybe you're thinking, oh, that's a fun idea. This is not a fun idea. This will probably be a video full of frustration. I couldn't find the datasheet of this stuff, so I don't know what the shore hardness is or its melting point. I'm thinking of starting with setting the temperature to 80 degrees and manually extrude it slowly. I've set the temperature to 80 degrees using the wet web interface. Let's see if it will extrude at 80 degrees. The only thing that I've tried is if this extruder is actually capable of pushing this without destroying it. Is it already destroying it? Nah, come on. This stuff damages very quickly, so it kept on binding inside here. It was jamming and the stuff was coming out of the sides, and I had to take this thing apart multiple times, and it was extremely frustrating. I think that this filament path of this E3D hot end is quite long, and I think that I've got an interesting idea how to make this filament path a bit shorter. Hopefully that will help. So let's try that.
Hier word je toch niet goed van.
If you're going to take a look at, for example, this extruder, this is the Omnia Drop. It's made by Max, and this thing is very capable of printing flexible filaments. And this filament path is very short, and this thing uses these ring heaters. You can screw it on here, the nozzle goes here, and you've got a very short path. And Max has given me a couple of his previous versions of these ring heaters. I think it would be interesting to see if it's possible to directly add this ring heater to the bottom of this extruder, so we create a very short filament path. This obviously doesn't have a cold zone like normal extruders have, but I think we might be able to get away with that because we are printing licorice laces. I'm currently printing this out of polycarbonate on the Kiditech iFast, although the name suggests it's not the fastest machine. But it does a very good job at printing materials like polycarbonate. I think it would be interesting to see if insulating does a similar job as cooling. Well, let's see. It's time for some B-roll. This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the only one platform to build your own website the easiest way possible. It has several award-winning templates. You can just select the one which fits your needs best. And even if you don't want to build your own website, you can outsource it. You can give rights to other people which can maintain your website. But because it's so easy, you don't have to rely on that person. Everyone can do it, including you. One thing I find very interesting is the member areas. You can create certain sections of your website on which you can, for instance, sell your expertise with dedicated content or videos or courses. You can also start a web shop, so if you want to sell Licorice, then go ahead. So head over to squarespace.com for a free trial. And if your website is ready for launch, then go to squarespace.com/properprinting and you get 10% off of your website or domain on there. Well, let's see if we can 3D print some Licorice. Deze zijn echt niet te vreten. Okay, I know what you're thinking, but hear me out. If this works, then I'm going to mount this differently. First, let's heat it up and see if it actually works. 120 degrees. And it's not soft, but it is warm. This was getting obstructed. For some reason, it's not finding its way down. Yeah, okay. Place the nozzle in here. And now it must be inside of this nozzle. Maybe 120 degrees is not enough. Well, let's go to 140. Well, there is something coming out. Okay. I'm extruding licorice laces. Oh shit. Oh, this is actually going better than I thought it would. Can I extrude faster? Well, there is some gunk coming from the side, so it's partially being destroyed. But it keeps on extruding. Okay, 140 is the magic number. I think if I'm printing very slowly, then this should actually work. And it's still licorice-like. It looks like the problem lies with this extruder itself, because it squishes this lace too much. If I measure the current gap, then it's around 1.5. If I'm squishing this to 1.5. So that's way too much. Okay, I've increased this gap, so now it shouldn't flatten this licorice lace, but the drawback of this is that it has less grip on the lace itself. There is a very fine line between not flattening this and creating enough back pressure. Fortunately, I have another pack of licorice laces. I've already been through the first pack. Brand new, fresh lace. Extruder is at temperature, yes, 140 degrees. Everything is cleaned up. And now carefully push the lace through. It's just coming from the sides. Okay. I'm giving up. I'm going to cheat. Okay, now I'm really giving up. I tried to bake licorice inside of this Teflon tube and I ended up with licorice inside of a Teflon tube, which I'm unable to get out, and it's crusty. For a moment I thought we were there. So what can we take away from this video? If you've got an idea and you think that it's not going to work, or if it's a stupid idea even before you've tried it, I encourage you to do it anyway. I think that the printing of licorice, is a perfect example of a stupid idea at first. Well, it still is. But because of this idea, I just came up with new ideas which I'm going to use in a future video. Even if your idea fails, then there are two things that can happen. Or you gain more experience, or you get new ideas, sometimes both. When I started this channel, I had only one idea, and that was making a tool changer. On this channel, I will keep on trying and experimenting ideas, whether they work or not. And this is what I especially like about 3D printing. Because it's so accessible, you don't need heavy machinery, you don't need expensive materials or very specialized knowledge of how to operate these machines. And the other thing I want to show is that this extruder can be also FDM 3D printed. I only showed the resin printed versions. If you go to my website, properprinting.pro, you can find the files, and the download also consists the FDM printable version. It has a custom support structure around the circumference, for example. And I've added a list of all non-printable components you need to replicate this thing. These affiliate links, together with the 3D printable files and the instructions, makes it possible for you to replicate this as well and play with it around. I want to thank my Patreon supporters. Your support helps a lot with these projects. And I want to thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this one. And I'm going to continue on the next project. So see you in the next video. Bye.